Time to build that chocolate mold. As you may recall, form follows function. For our first vacuum mold, we built a positive of the Girl Scout logo we wanted to form. For our chocolate mold, we will build a negative of the desired object. But in order to do that, we need to start with a positive shape. And then we'll pour rubber molding compound around it. We will be using a product called Smooth Sil 940. It is a food-grade, castable silicone rubber that comes as 2 parts. It is weighed out and mixed, then poured around the object. In our case, that object will be a positive shape that is machined out of a block of machinable wax. The rubber will fill the pocket, and when it is removed, it will be a perfect negative of our original shape. Then we can cast as many candies in it as we want. This is the link to the Smooth On website that outlines the process in much greater detail. They also have a different product that is a 2-part putty that can be squished around the original instead of poured. The putty sets up faster and doesn't require weighing, so it may be a good choice in certain circumstances. It's called Equinox 38.
Alright, here's part 1 of our chocolate mold. I'm going to come up here, grab a new part. I'm going to start sketching on the top plane over here on the left. Go to sketch. Mine's going to be a medallion chocolate, so I'm going to come up here and grab a circle. Start on the origin. I'm going to draw it to any size, and I'm going to smart dimension it to 2 inches. Accept it. And I'm going to draw the inner ring, kind of a border around my letters inside the chocolate. And this doesn't have to be any particular size. I'm going to make it about there. Looks good. From there we're going to go to features and do an extruded boss base. Now I want mine to be about 0.3 tall. So come over here, put it to whatever depth you want, and we'll draft it. I'm not going to draft it here, but you can. I'll show you how to do it the other way also. I'm going to accept that sketch, and now I'm going to extrude up the center of that. So I'm going to open up another sketch, and if you come down here to the plus sign, you can drop down the feature tree. I'm going to grab top plane. Now you could draw another circle in here. I'm going to use convert entities. This allows me to pick a line on another sketch or another object, and it'll put it on my sketch that I have open. You can grab the circle that's on the same plane, or you can grab any line on any plane, and it'll project it onto the plane that you're working with. So now I have a circle in there. Go to features, extrude, and I'm going to make this inside part 0.2. Accept it. Now I'm going to draft my edges. So you can come up here to draft, and I'll do manual. It's going to ask me my neutral plane. The neutral plane is your flat surface. Your faces to draft, they're your walls to that. So I'm going to grab those 2 surfaces, or faces, and I'm going to draft mine at 17 degrees. There's 2 reasons to draft it. One is for looks, but you also, if you're making a mold of this, you want it to come out of your mold. If you have straight edges, you're not going to be able to get it out very easily or at all. So you usually want at least a 3 to 5 degree draft on your edges. I'm going to use 17 just for looks. And there's the start of my chocolate. I'm going to go to a top view. And now I'm going to add some lettering. You go to Sketch, Add Text, and if I click on this face, it'll open a sketch on that plane. So I'm going to click on there, and my letters are going to be LC. It's for the college that I go to. I want my letters to overlap, so I'm going to do it in two different texts. So type the letter. I want to change the font, so you come down here, the font button. I'm going to change it to that font, and you can change the size of it with units or with points. I'm going to use points because I think I can use the biggest that they have, and I like that size. I'm going to accept that. Actually, first I'm going to bold that letter. Now I'm going to accept it. And I'm going to move it to where I want. So you come up here to Move Entities. And make sure Keep Relations isn't checked because you won't be able, sometimes you won't be able to move the object. It selected my letter. It's asking me for the point that I want to move it from. I'll move it from there. And I'll put the letter probably about there. Once I get the C in there, I'll have a better idea of where I want that to be. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab a text and do it on that plane. I'm going to make a C. I'm going to change my font again. Bold. Do my size. And I like the way that looks, so I'll accept it. And I'm going to move it now. It's asking me what I want to move. I want to move the letter from that point to about there. Looks good. Now I like the way that looks, so I won't do any more moving around. But you can always go back and move the L or move any sketch prior to this. I'm going to accept that. And now that I like the way that it looks, I'm going to extrude it. So if you click on that sketch, you can go up to Edit Sketch, and it'll bring you back to there. I'm going to go to Features and Extruded Boss Base. Now if you rotate your camera, it'll give you a preview of what it wants to do. I only want mine to be extruded about 0.1 inches. That'll bring it up to the top of my chocolate. And I want to draft my edges, so we'll click the draft button here, and 5 degrees would work, so I'm going to accept that. And I'm going to do the same thing to my C. So I'll grab that sketch, edit, go to Features, Extrude, 0.1 inches with 5 degrees of draft, accept it. And there's the beginning of my chocolate. I like the way it's looking, so I'm going to save this. For now, work on getting your basic shape and lettering that you might want in there.
So, now it's your turn to find your inspiration, such as your school's letters, and design a mold in SOLIDWORKS using the steps from this video.